This is CBN NewsWatch.
And thank you so much for joining us. I'm Ephraim Graham. Lots to get to. Let's begin this half hour in the Middle East. Israeli leaders responded to President Joe Biden's announcement the U.S. will stop supplying certain ammunition for Israel's operation to defeat Hamas in Rafah. As Chris Mitchell now reports, it represents a watershed moment in Israel's history.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had already promised earlier this week that if Israel had to go it alone in its war against Hamas, they would go it alone. After President Joe Biden said he would withhold key weapons if Israel launched a major operation in Rafah, Netanyahu repeated his pledge on the eve of the nation's Independence Day.
In the War of Independence 76 years ago, we were few against many. We had no weapons. There was an arms embargo on Israel, but with the greatness of spirit, bravery, and unity among us, we won. If we have to stand alone, we will stand alone. I've already said that if we have to, we will fight with our fingernails. But we have much more than fingernails, and with the same greatness of spirit, with God's help, we will win together.
Despite Biden's partial weapons embargo, IDF's chief spokesman said the military has what it needs to finish the job.
The Army has munitions for the missions it has planned, and for the missions in Rafah too. We have what we need.
IDF Reserve Lieutenant Colonel Eyal Dror told CBN News Biden's move helps Hamas.
Unfortunately, the war will be longer because Hamas took courage from this decision.
Dror says the Middle East is watching.
I remind you that the Middle East is still remembering what happened with the withdrawal of the U.S. from Afghanistan. It was just 2 years ago, and the U.S., in their opinion, betrayed the allies. Now it's the same message.
Biden also facing criticism in Washington from both Democrats and Republicans, with some conservatives telling the administration it is aiding Hamas.
Hamas wins if it survives in Rafah. And Joe Biden has threatened to withhold weapons from Israel for fighting in Rafah. Therefore, Joe Biden objectively favors a Hamas victory over Israel.
Israel is also looking ahead to what could be the next war against Hezbollah, as Defense Minister Yoav Gallant reinforced to the troops Israel's goals of destroying the terrorist group, telling troops this could be a hot summer. But for now, the focus is finishing off Hamas and Rafah, as Israeli forces are taking out terrorists and keeping up their offensive in Gaza.
Chris Mitchell joins us now from Jerusalem with more. So, Chris, what reactions are you hearing from those in Jerusalem after Netanyahu's repeated pledge saying Israel will fight even if it has to do it alone?
Well, I think many Israelis and leaders agree with that analysis and what they need to do to be resolute against what Biden is doing. They believe it's dangerous to Israel's plight in the Middle East. As Eyal Dror told us yesterday, Israel's enemies are watching and making them bolder. And another Israeli leader told me, really sad and scary. Give you another tweet, Hamas loves Biden. And so many people over here are wondering, is this a political decision for Biden? Is Michigan, with its 15 electoral votes, trumping actually standing with the Jewish state? Also, Ephraim, it's important to note this is a very important time of year for Israel. Just a few days ago on Sunday, I was at the Yad Vashem, which is the Holocaust Remembrance Day. A very, very somber time for all Israelis. Most Israelis are directly or indirectly affected by the Holocaust. In a few days, are going to be Memorial Day, mourning the loss of all the soldiers that have died in all of Israel's wars, and then Independence Day. It's Israel's July 4th. And so this is a very serious time of year, and to have the U.S. cut off some ammunition for its last battle in Gaza is very, very serious indeed.
So what's next, you think, for the U.S. and Israel? Is there room for a compromise of sorts?
Well, some people believe this is a turning point. Some believe it might be a breaking point. They do believe it was a betrayal. That was the headline in the New York Post. It's how many Israelis feel. There could be a point of no return between Israel and the Biden administration. Even some Jewish leaders in the U.S., typically supportive of Biden in the U.S., are even criticizing him. And at the same time that this happened, Ephraim, the Washington Free Beacon is reporting that it issued sanctions waiver for weapon sales to Qatar and also Lebanon. So they see sort of duplicitous actions by the Biden administration, at least here in Israel.
What are the possibilities of a potential battle with Hezbollah?
Well, as Yoav Gallant said, it could be a long, hot summer. Right now, it's basically a war of attrition going on between Hezbollah and Israel. There's been about 1,700 attacks from Lebanon, mainly by Hezbollah, half of them against civilians since October 8th, actually. There's about 60,000 civilians officially gone from that border. Maybe it's closer to 100,000 unofficially. 43 communities are deserted. Affects about 300,000 total Israelis. Now, will they be able to go back? And it really remains to be seen. But this is a very, very serious issue for Israel. So likely when they finish, presumably with Hamas in Gaza, they'll turn their attention to Hezbollah on its northern border.
Chris, what can we expect this evening on Jerusalem Dateline?
Well, we'll have an update story of what's happening here in the region and reaction to what Biden has done. We'll have analysis with CBN Middle East analyst John Waggy. We also have a story, Ephraim, on the numbers of the Gaza Ministry of Health, and do they add up? Right now, they're saying over 34,000 Palestinians have died, but some people question those numbers. Also, we have somebody talking about the student protests on U.S. university campuses, a lawyer who's taking two Palestinian groups to court, and also we'll have a story on CBN Israel helping a family here in Israel in need.
All right, Chris, so much to get to. Thank you so much. I want to remind you at home that you can get the latest from Jerusalem Dateline this evening on the CBN News Channel. It'll begin at 8 Eastern. You can also watch it on the CBN News app, or you can watch it on YouTube. Back here at home, parts of the Tennessee region saw dangerous storms and rain Thursday. It comes after an earlier storm in that region caused several tornadoes and killed at least 3 people, while injuring a 10-year-old boy who was swept into a storm drain in a community in Nashville. The boy is now in grave condition. The National Weather Service Storms Center is predicting it is an enhanced risk for severe weather from Texas to South Carolina. Severe weather has affected 39 states since Monday. East Africa is mourning following the tragic loss of nearly 240 lives due to severe flooding, as Kenya observes a national day of mourning today to honor the dead. CBN's Operation Blessing is actively providing aid and support to those affected by this disaster.
A tragic situation has been unfolding in Kenya, where heavy rains led to ongoing flooding, devastating parts of the country. At least 235,000 people are displaced and living in camps, with close to 240 dead. CBN Kenya Director Peter Kamaru explaining how they're managing operations under these extreme conditions in the capital city of Nairobi, bringing critical disaster relief to those in need.
So Operation Blessing was able to work collaboratively with Orphans Promise. Orphans Promise have a partner that they work with in the slums of Nairobi. So we reached out to that partner, who was able to help us identify families that have been affected by the flooding.
Kimaru telling CBN's The Global Lane they provided critical supplies to more than 500 families.
This past Saturday, we bought blankets, food relief. Each family was getting about 25 kgs, enough food to last them for about a month. Some water treatment tablets. We had water jerry cans and also mosquito net.
And still more rain is predicted for most of the country. Brody Carter, CBN News.
Coming up, a program that's led to a 1/3 drop in violent crime and a 71% decrease in gun violence. We're going to take you inside Operation Ceasefire. You're watching CBN NewsWatch.
Download the CBN News app, 24/7 news from a Christian perspective at home or on the road. One place for all of your news. Breaking news alerts. Set daily prayer goals and pray for news stories. Read the most important news and watch CBN News Channel live. CBN News, because truth matters. Go to cbnnewsapp.com to get the app today.
And welcome back to CBN NewsWatch. Violent crime is rising in cities across the nation. One city in Virginia had a 76% increase in major crime in 2022. Since then, a statewide approach emphasizing early intervention is helping young people stay on the right side of the law. Tara Mergener shows us how Operation Ceasefire is lowering crime rates and turning lives around.
State Attorney General Jason Miyares launched Operation Ceasefire less than 2 years ago in Virginia cities with high rates of gun-related offenses. Since then, nearly all of those participating have seen a downturn in crime, a trend Miyares says benefits the entire state. From shootings and armed robberies to vicious assaults, a number of urban areas across the United States are besieged by violence. Virginia is no exception, seeing its homicide rate steadily climbing since 2018.
When you're too afraid to go out your front door, to go out at night, or to go out to a restaurant or dine or visit with your friends, that's a problem.
People in Hopewell, south of Richmond, felt that way as they experienced a crime spike affecting nearly every corner of their community.
The black SUV he was pursuing fired shots at that deputy.
From its streets to its schools.
In 2022, we saw about a 76% increase in crime, specifically violent crime, overall major crime.
We have seen just horrific increases in that type of behavior. Our last school year, we lost 6 children from the age of 8 to 18 to gun violence and crime.
We supposed to be planning birthday parties, not funerals. This is crazy to me.
In response to this epidemic, Attorney General Jason Miyares resurrected a crime-fighting approach that first saw success 20 years ago in Richmond. He took Operation Ceasefire to more than a dozen of Virginia's high crime areas in 2022 and insists it's working.
Well, Operation Ceasefire is both early intervention, making sure that young people have a path other than joining gangs, but also if you cross that line, you're committing violent crime. We have our ceasefire prosecutors that are going to prosecute and hold these people accountable.
What makes this program unique is its focus on prevention.
We know people who are committing violent crimes. We have to stop them. It's not just about lock them up and throw away the key.
To reach these communities, Hopewell authorities take the extra step of partnering with a local nonprofit, such as Real Life. Once police identify likely offenders and potential victims, members of the groups Project Safe, Alive, and Free step in.
We send an officer, a community member, and our project coordinator with Real Life to the people that we want to custom notify, and then Real Life takes over from there and builds those relationships and works with that person or that group to try to prevent any type of future violence or any type of retaliatory shootings.
Also, it's called a custom notification, and so it is our life coach, it's somebody from law enforcement. We talk with teachers, the football coach, the probation. So we really have a big picture of this person.
Advocates, some who've turned away from a life of crime, show that change is possible.
We can get together and talk to the gang leaders, the gang members, talk to the active shooters, the guys that's really putting in the work, and have a sit-down conversation with them to give them something other than going back to what they was doing in the beginning.
Understand that whatever you do in life is going to come back to you. If you're out there doing dirt, doing anything wrong, if somebody drops some money on the ground and you pick it up and you don't give it back to them, anything you do negative, you're going to have to pay for it. And that's a fact. But the same thing goes for when you do positive things.
Faith is also an important part of the protocol.
Knocking on people's doors, the peace walks that we do, everyone has been open and receptive. So I think it's making a small difference for the residents to know that somebody cares. Somebody is here in the community. We're not law enforcement, but we have a higher power, of course. We're faith enforcement.
Less than 2 years since the launch, early results are promising, with a significant reduction in violent crime and thousands of confiscated firearms. Hopewell stands out with a decreased crime rate of more than a third since last year and a 71% reduction in gun violence. As of March, Operation Ceasefire has prosecuted 155 cases, resulting in more than 100 convictions and dozens of pending trials. The goal is to add more cities to the program and hopefully expand its success. And Tara Mergener, CBN News.
Still ahead, a very special women's conference from CeCe Winans just in time for Mother's Day weekend. We're going to talk to her about the event and more coming up next. Welcome back to CBN NewsWatch. Grammy Award-winning artist CeCe Winans is a wife, mother, grandmother, pastor, and author. And this weekend, she's hosting moms and their daughters at her annual conference, Generations Live. She's also wrapped up a tour, and she's got a new album.
Coming here to this conference has been mind-boggling. Hearing that people are coming from Nigeria, from Bermuda, St. Louis, Missouri, LA, and choosing to scrape up what money we had to just come for this conference was just, it's inspiring.
Generations is about generations. It's about connecting older to younger, younger to older, and paying attention to the things that sometimes we overlook in each other. There's a bit of a gap there that I believe God wants to bring together. We need each other. We need what each other has in us. And that's what CeCe's heart is behind this.
It's just amazing. And so I'm excited to tell my friends and my friends' parents to come. And I want to tell my mom we need to come every year.
We're headed into Generations Live conference.
Yes, Generations Live.
This is year 3?
Year 3, 2024.
What sparked this conference? Not like you don't have enough to do on your plate. What sparked it?
I know. Well, I put out a book about passing the baton, faith. And, when I realized that I was a part of the older generation, I understood that it was my turn to use everything that God has given me to create spaces, events that will give me a chance to pour into the next generation. I've seen God's faithfulness in my life. I've seen God's faithfulness in my children's life. And again, I'm going to keep mentioning him throughout this whole conversation. I started out doing the taping of Generations with my daughter on YouTube. And because I'm here today, only because of those who were before me that took out time to teach me the Word of God, teach me how to be a woman of God. And I'm strong in my faith because of that. And God never meant for any of us to walk this road alone. Not only did I have my birth parents who taught me, but I had the mothers in the church, my pastors, those God had allowed to be a part of my training and my cultivating. And it's my turn to do it. And so Generations is about bringing in incredible speakers, singers that I know will impart the will of God, the Spirit of God into not just young people, but especially young people, but all ages. They're coming together because I want to encourage that. We live in a society that separates us, that tries to have the daughter fighting the mom and the mom fighting the grandmom, and because the enemy knows that we're better together, and it's God's will for us to dwell in unity. And so this is an event, Generations, that we want to see all the generations there, as many that are still with us, and it's been beautiful. The last two, we've seen, I think, up to 4 generations to come. And it's just a beautiful event to encourage. It's an environment that we create that the Lord can come in and bring transformation in the hearts of these women. Yeah.
And for those who aren't able to get to Nashville or have not been able to get a ticket, they're still able to participate this weekend.
Yes, we have live streams. If you can't be in the house, we want you in the house because it's so much fun. It's so refreshing. But yes, we're excited about the live stream so they can be a part as well, because it will be great impartation. And that's the beauty of live stream, is that you can be a part of this even though you're not here locally.
Let's talk about the new music, the More Than This project that releases at #1.
Oh my goodness. They told me, I heard. That's an awesome feeling. That's really, I'm humbled by it. I'm excited. I feel like we've created something that people are going to embrace. When you listen to this record, to me, the highlights is when that audience is singing. Yeah. I just felt like I had, this has to be the closest thing to heaven. These voices, I was blessed to be able to bring worship teams from all the different churches here at Nashville. And they came in ready to sing and worship, and it is spectacular to me.
The Generations Live Conference is happening in Nashville today and tomorrow. And as you heard, if you're not able to make it there, you can connect right now through live stream. For more information, simply go to generationsliveconference.com. Stay with us. You're watching CBN News Watch. We've got an encouraging word for your Friday coming up next. Time for your Friday Faithful. I'll leave you with this thought as we wrap another week together. God is good, and His goodness is working it all out for your good. In any areas of your life that are not good, know He is working it out for your good and for His glory. With that word, make today a fabulous Friday, and be sure to have yourself a wonderful weekend. Well, that will do it for this edition of CBN News Watch. Remember, you can always find more of our news programs on the CBN News Channel at any time. You can also find them online at cbnnews.com. Take a moment. Let us know what you think about the stories you've seen here today or any day. You can email us, newswatch@cbn.com. You can also, of course, reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We look forward to seeing you right back here come Monday. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there.